Today on Dirt Nation Off-Road, we're going to be looking at some of the most important items you're going to have with you out on the trails. And we're going to be looking at some recovery kits from Superwinch. Let's get started. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dirt Nation Off-Road. So today we're gonna be looking at some recovery equipment from Superwinch. Now, back in like 2019, 2020, I don't know, a long time ago, after all these videos I forget sometimes, but I know we had a recovery, like what's in my bag type video, and I went over some of the items that I carry. Over the years, as we continue to learn new things, we deal with new situations, new recoveries, rollovers, all of those things, you kind of learn what's the stuff that you want to carry in your recovery bag. So I had planned on doing an update refresh to that video. Then I got an opportunity to review some new stuff from Superwinch, which is perfect because I can combine all that stuff and knock it all out in one video for you guys. So I have 4 kits that we're going to be taking a look at today, as well as some other recovery items, and these are going to cover most of what you'll need when you're out there on the trail. Now, there's always different situations where you're going to want to carry some other stuff. Usually, you know, number one thing when I talk about recovery, just bring an extra vehicle with you. That is the best recovery thing that you can bring with you, is another vehicle, another person, because when you off-road alone, you never know what's going to happen. I usually don't recommend off-roading alone. Sometimes I do it, so I can't, you know, I can't preach too much about it, but bring an extra person with you, because if something happens to you, if something happens to them, if you come across somebody else that's been in a bad situation, you want to be able to help them. So always go bring a friend and all those things. And obviously when it comes to off-roading, make sure you're always prepared with food, water, extra clothes, depending on, you know, the weather that you're in, because you never know what's going to happen out there. You want to make sure that you, your family, whoever you're with, is going to be solid. But back to recovery equipment, there is some baseline items that you want to make sure that you carry out there on the trails, so that in any situation you can make sure that you're taken care of, or the people that you're trying to help are taken care of. Up first, we'll take a look at a couple of the new items that we have, and then we'll break down each kit, tell you who it's for, what it's for, so on and so forth. Up first, we're going to be looking at a Kinetic rope. The reason you want to use a Kinetic rope as opposed to a strap is for pulling, for winching. Those ropes are typically pretty arty. They're woven tight so that they don't have much stretch, right? As soon as you pull, whatever's behind you, whatever's getting pulled is going to get pulled right away. Kinetic ropes allow you to do a little bit of yanking, to where when you pull, the rope is going to stretch, and then, you know, kinetic energy is going to pull the vehicle from behind. Kinetic ropes are very useful in those situations where somebody needs more of a yank, you know, something a little more as opposed to just being pulled slowly or winched. This rope's 1 inch in diameter, and then it's 30 feet long, and then it's rated for 30,000 pounds of braking strength, which is pretty darn strong, and that's exactly what you want with the Kinetic rope, because if you're going to be yanking on this thing, if you got, you know, if you're in a Zuza and you got a big K5 yanking another big K5, that's going to be a lot of pressure on that rope, and these things are built to take it. We've been using these a long time. We actually used to use the Weston brand ones. You know, I carry them all over the place, and I've used them so much that even parts of it have gotten frayed, but it still works just fine. I use it all the time, but it's good to get ours updated with a brand new one. Up next, we have a soft shackle. Now, soft shackles are pretty useful as opposed to D-rings, because D-rings are steel. If those things break, they tend to, you know, cause some damage, and, you know, obviously that's not good. If this breaks, it's usually not going to cause much damage because it's just a little rope. Also, the other benefit of a soft shackle, because it has a wider hole, you're allowed to put this around bigger things. So like the D-rings, you know, we have some in the kits right there. They're useful in a lot of situations, but because it has just this little hole, you know, if you need to wrap it around someone's frame, if you need to wrap it around, you know, God forbid, steering parts or links or anything, let's say they don't have proper recovery, you know, you can put this around there and you can be able to winch, or you can be able to do some stuff from these soft shackles. Typically with these, what you'd want to do is you loosen it up right here, and then you can kind of pull it, and then whatever you're going to use it to, you wrap it around, tie it back onto there, and then you want to tighten this piece right here so that it's up against this ball, so that when you're winching, you got one going this way, one going that way, this thing's going to hold tight and it's going to do a good job. Up next is a winch dampener. Now, you only really need this if you have a winch, and it's usually only recommended for steel cables, although if you have a synthetic cable, I would use these too. But the dampeners, what they're for is it has Velcro straps on the inside. And what you do is when you pull your winch line out, you go ahead and put this over the winch line and close it, and it'll hang on your winch line. What these are for, if the cable fails at all, you're gonna cause all that energy to go down rather than at the other person's vehicle or your vehicle or whatever's happening. Because we've seen some pretty ugly things happen when you don't put one of these, especially on steel cables. When that steel cable builds up kinetic energy and then it snaps, somebody's going to get hurt. So it's much safer to put these on there so that you can get that kinetic energy going down rather than towards you. Now, if for any reason you don't have one of these on the trail, you can put a sweater, a shirt, something to just weigh it down. The reason these are good is because they do have the Velcro, so they'll stay on there under any situation. And then these are weighted a little bit heavier than like a sweater or a shirt, so that it'll help it, you know, go down that much easier. But these are super important. If you guys have a winch, I would definitely pick one of these up. It's going to be super useful out on the trails, just being safe. All right, first kit that we're going to be looking at is called the Getaway kit. Now this kit is good for any winch out there, whether you have a Superwinch, whether you have, you know, one of the other brands. This is going to be good for any situation where you have a winch and you need to recover somebody. So let's crack it open. Let's show you what's on the inside. In the kit, you'll find 2 3/4 inch bow shackles. Now shackles are super important to have. I always recommend carrying a couple on you because most off-road bumpers, most stock vehicles are equipped to use them, as well as recovery equipment is designed to hook up to these. So you can hook up a shackle on a vehicle, you know, put a tow rope, and you don't have to worry that none of this stuff is going to work together, because most of the time, regardless of what company it comes from, this stuff will work together with different vehicles. You're also going to find an 8-foot tree saver strap, which is important for trees, because usually when you're winching, you don't want to wrap your whole line around a tree or anything like that. There's also a 3-inch by 30-foot recovery strap. There's winching gloves, and it all comes nicely packed inside a gear bag. So as I said, this kit will be useful for any situation. If you have a winch, if you don't have a winch, it's always good to have straps. It's always good to have D-rings, and gloves are super important as well, honestly. So check that one out. Let's get to the next one. All right, next kit is the light duty recovery kit. Now this kit isn't gonna be for everybody. This is gonna be more for your UTV, Can-Am, side-by-side driving people. This is gonna be perfect for those people because it's going to include a lot of the stuff that you're going to see in the other kits, but it's rated at smaller weights, smaller brake strengths, and the reason is because you want it to be lightweight, because with those types of vehicles usually you don't have as much space or as much weight to carry stuff around. So usually something like this is going to be perfect because this thing weighs like 10 pounds, but it's going to have all the necessary equipment for recovery on a vehicle like that. Inside this kit, you'll get a set of gloves, a 1/2-inch D-ring shackle, and then an 8-foot tree saver strap rated at 30,000 pounds, and then you'll get a new item that we haven't seen yet, which is a snatch block, and that's going to be rated for 10,000 pounds. Now snatch blocks are super useful for recovery. Now what you do with a snatch block is it has this little wheel right here, and you're going to load your winch line through there, and then you lock it into place. When you loop your winch through the snatch block back to your vehicle, you double the power of your winch, which gives you twice as much pulling power than a normal situation. So let's say you're a vehicle by yourself and you're recovering a vehicle that's a little bit bigger. This allows you to have an opportunity to at least try that. Now what's really cool about snatch blocks is you can actually use these to direct your winch in different places. So for example, let's say you're trying to winch somebody that you can't line up straight up with. If you can find a point to hook up a snatch block, you can hook up your snatch block right here. Your vehicle can be right here, and then you can winch them from over here because your winch line will feed through here and then redirect over there. So it's super useful getting a vehicle on a trailer as well as getting a vehicle off the trailer. I actually learned real recently that you can winch a vehicle off a trailer using its own winch using a snatch block, which is pretty cool. So super useful to have one of these. Now, this one is rated at 10,000 pounds. You know, part of this kit, this is one for, you know, UTVs, Can-Ams. This is the smaller one that goes for this kit, but you'll see in some of the other kits, we have bigger snatch blocks, which are rated at higher pounds so that you can use them in a lot of different situations. That's it for the light duty kit. Let's move on to the next one. Up next is the medium duty recovery kit. Now, this kit is probably gonna be good for 95% of you off-roaders out there. If you're a regular off-roader or somebody that just goes out on maybe every other weekend, or you go out every 6 months, whatever. If you want to carry good recovery equipment that's a complete kit that's going to carry most of the stuff that you're going to need in a lot of situations, this kit is it right here. In this kit, you'll find a set of gloves, 2 3/4 inch D-rings, a tree saver rated at 20,000 pounds, a 30-foot recovery strap rated at 20,000 pounds, a snatch block at 20,000 pounds, and then a winch snubber. Now, a winch hook snubber is actually pretty cool. It's this little two-piece, and it actually screws together. It comes with all the hardware that you need, but it's two little like rubber plastic pieces that screw together, and then your winch line will go right through there. And what this is for is, let's say you want to cap off your winch line at a certain point. That way you don't have to pull your hook all the way through, or you don't have to worry about any of those things. You can kind of put this as a stopper so that when you feed your winch line in, it'll stop right there, and then you'll be good to go. So it's actually pretty cool that they include this in there. I'm gonna go throw this on the Tacoma right now, because I've actually had a problem with the Tacomas. When you pull out the winch line, on the steel cable, there's a steel piece that always gets caught. If I put this right before that steel line, this will stop it right there, and I don't have to worry about that. So pretty cool of them to include that in there. But as I said, the medium duty kit is gonna cover most of the needs for most of you off-roaders out there. Let's break a table. Oof! Last one that we'll be looking at today is the heavy duty recovery kit. And this is the one that I'm gonna be carrying around. I might pick a couple items from the other ones, but this pretty much has everything that you need, and it's rated at the absolute most strength for most situations. If you are somebody that is a frequent off-roader, maybe you lead a lot of groups, maybe you run with a lot of beginners, a lot of people that might find themselves stuck or broken or in a lot of bad situations, this is the kind of kit you're going to want to carry with you, because it can help you recover a lot of different types of vehicles, a lot of different size and weight of different vehicles. Full-size guys, this is definitely the kit for you. The medium kit will work for full-size trucks, but obviously with bigger trucks, you have more power, more weight, more torque, all of those things that you're going to be dealing with. This kit is going to be designed to deal with that. Inside the heavy-duty kit, you guessed it, first thing is a set of gloves. You're also going to get 2 of the 3/4-inch D-rings. You're going to get a tree saver rated at 30,000 pounds now, as well as a 30-foot recovery strap rated at 26,000 pounds, and then you're going to have a 36,000-pound snatch block. This thing is beefy. Even comparing it to the 10,000-pound one, you guys can see the difference. This is a serious snatch block meant for recovering some big vehicles. And then lastly, you're going to get a choker chain. Now, having a chain in here is a really cool addition, because chains are useful just in a lot of different situations. It's always good to have a good quality strong chain on hand, because you never know when you're gonna have to chain something up, you're gonna have to lock something out, you have to tie something. Sometimes you're gonna use a recovery strap, cool, but you want to use something that's heavy duty and real, right? This is real. This isn't synthetic ropes, this isn't recovery straps. Like, that's real. Now, the most practical use I'm gonna have for the chain is when I flat tow, because when you flat tow, you obviously have the bar connected to each vehicle, and that's going to keep it into place. But having a good chain, something quality, is going to make sure if that tow bar fails for any reason, you're not going to lose your vehicle and hurt a bunch of people on the highway. You're just going to probably hurt your other vehicles. But having a good quality chain is super useful. We've used them in recovery before. Sometimes, if a strap isn't practical, you want to use something that's heavy duty and that's going to hold. Chains is what you want to use. This is going to replace my regular recovery bag. I'm just going to add a couple items to it, and then this is the one I'm going to be rocking from now on, because this looks like a good quality bag. It's got, stuff on the side so that I can, put some additional items in there. But this thing's cool. Definitely digging it. But that's all I got for this video. That is a quick look at some brand new recovery equipment from Superwinch. If you were to learn anything from this video, just learn the importance of carrying the right gear with you. Even if you carry too much gear, right? You'll learn what you don't need. Example, I carried a shovel for years. I don't carry a shovel anymore because I never used it. Now, some people might use shovels, but my point is, learn what you need to carry. This is going to get you pointed in the right direction. We will link all these kits down below so you guys can check them out for yourselves. But we are all done here. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. Now, side note for Patreon, we're going to do a giveaway of a couple of these kits on Patreon. So make sure to check it out. We'll link it like here. I think we're going to do right here, right? Patreon's going to be right there. Check that link, subscribe, show some support, and we'll go from there. And of course, you can hit us up for shirts, hats, hoodies, and all those other goodies at dirtnationoffroad@gmail.com. But until next time, thank you guys. We'll see you again soon. Let's get it.